Good evening. You're welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform Facebook Live from 3Team Best Trade Academy. We'll continue our discussion on starting and managing export business. In the morning, we continue what we started yesterday, which was with respect to the full corporate offer. Full corporate offer. It's so important to understand the importance of full corporate offer and the fact that when you are trying to get across to a new buyer, you need to demonstrate to the buyer that you have a good understanding of what we are talking about, such that at the end of the day, the buyer can trust you to be able to deliver on your promises. So the idea behind full corporate offer basically is to help you understand when you are going, it's been said constantly that initial impression matters a lot. Initial impression lasts longer. When you appear, you cannot disappear again. You can't reappear again. The first appearance communicates a message. So when you are writing an intending buyer for the first time, in a cold call, in an unsolicited email, you must also demonstrate some level of competence, some level of decorum, some level of seriousness that will make that buyer to even want to deal with you in the first place. You should realize the fact that we are in Africa. And in Africa, there's so many things against us. A lot of odds are against us. And it's very important you understand that so many odds are against us, especially for Nigeria. With the advent of the internet fraudster in Nigeria, you don't know how much that have damaged our reputation. Let me tell you, when they see your email, they are afraid to open it. I'm sure you heard what I said. When they see your email, they are afraid to open it. Why? Courtesy our G-boys. Courtesy our Yahoo boys. They might think they are enjoying themselves, they are making money, but they are making money at the expense of Nigeria, at the expense of exporters of products and services, at the expense of so many opportunities that Nigeria could have gotten, and these guys are killing business for Nigerians. So when you send a mail, sometimes they ignore your mail. I've been in a program where a guy in the UK, I think they're a trading company, and he said, look, whenever I get a mail from Nigeria, they already programmed their system to send it straight into spam. So they don't even get to see the mail. They don't even get to see the mail. Why? Because they are even afraid to open our mail. Why are they afraid to open our mail? The message we have communicated. We have communicated that we are fraudsters. Who communicated it? Of course, the Yahoo boys. The Yahoo boy communicated that we are fraudsters and that we cannot be trusted. And we cannot be trusted. And that's so critical. Because at the end of the day, it makes it difficult for us to get buyers. So we have a lot of odds against us. But the beauty of all this for me is that these challenges are not unsurmountable. These challenges are not unsurmountable. Basically, I'm saying, fine, we have that challenge, no doubt about it, but we actually can overcome those challenges. There are ways around them. One of the ways to show you're serious is the fact that you are using a full corporate offer in the mail you are sending out. Now, beside the full corporate offer, let me go back to that story. And this guy said, look, the person eventually met at an event who was now trying to send him a mail. He was telling the guy he was not seeing that mail. Not knowing that he has already programmed his mail. All this mail coming from Africa, from Nigeria. Auto trash. He had to now go to his trash to go and see where all those mail have been languishing. Why? Because of the way we have been portrayed as a result of internet fraudsters in Africa. So I'm basically saying that those that do internet fraud in Africa are not helping us. They are making life difficult for exporters. They are not helping exporters to be able to make desired progress. And it would be great if they can stop. By the way, if you have such, I can actually train them. We have a program now that can be trained on to be actually a certified international trade broker. They can actually broker deals. Since they like exploring the internet, Instead of deceiving people on the internet, they can begin to convince people on the internet positively, not convince people on the internet negatively. So like I said in the morning, we started discussing full corporate offer. Yesterday we talked about buyers and sellers. This morning we talked about product description and specification. Product description and specification. And this evening, I'll be talking about minimum order, maximum order, payment method, and payment terms. Minimum order, maximum order, payment method, and payment terms. Minimum order. Minimum order is the minimum quantity you can ship at a time. It's very important you understand that international trade, when you are trying to ship product of Nigeria, there are fixed costs you will incur. For example, you are going to incur what is called terminal handling charge. For a 20-foot container, that's about 40,000 naira. Plus VAT and the like, of almost 45,000 naira. If you are doing a 40-foot container is going to be about 60,000 naira plus VAT, about 60-something thousand naira. What this basically does is that it then makes it very difficult for you to be able to break even. Because at the end of the day, if you are incurring this fixed cost, that means you then must have a minimum quantity you must ship. Because if I ship goods of 1 ton in a container, I will pay 40,000 naira for a container. For the freight charge to the destination, I will pay, if it's $1,500 per container, I'll pay $1,500 per container. If I put 20 tons in the same container, I will still pay 40,000 for terminal handling charge. I will still pay $1,500 for freight charge. Now, what this is telling you is that there are fixed costs. There are fixed costs. The fact that there are fixed costs basically mean that you will definitely need minimum order. You will definitely need minimum order. Why do you then need minimum order? Minimum order to be able to cover all your costs. Minimum order to be able to cover all your costs that you are incurring for that project. Minimum order required for you to be able to carry all your costs required for that project. So you need minimum order. Minimum order. Then there is need for maximum order. Whereas minimum order helps us to be able to cover all the risk, such that at the end of the day you will be profitable. Maximum order tells us of your capacity. Maximum order tells us of your capacity. Maximum order tells us about your capacity. Maximum order tells us of what you can do. Maximum order tells us of how much financial muscle you can muster. Maximum order tells us of what your limitation in terms of delivery. You know why? Minimum order will not be a challenge, but maximum order will be a challenge for some factories. Some factories, they need a minimum quantity they need to buy per time. Unless they have other people they will be aggregating from, which they will not want to do, because they want to ensure if they are buying from you, they put all your product into the factory for processing together at once. So that if there are issues, they will know where is the source of the product in question. As a result of this, you will need likely to be able to ship a product that will be enough for that factory to use per time. If the minimum quantity a factory will use per time is 1,000 tons, and your maximum order maybe in a quarter or in a year or in the period under question is just a meager 100 tons, you might not get that transaction. You might not get that contract. They might not show interest in dealing with you. Why? If they buy from you, they will need to buy other parts of that product from other sources. And that is a challenge. It's a challenge because if they buy other products from other sources, they might have an issue that makes it difficult for them to separate. Now that we have processed these goods and we are having concern and quality issue, which of our suppliers supply the product that is giving us this problem? If they've combined, they buy from you in Nigeria and buy from another person in Gabon, or buy from you in Nigeria, buy from another person in Japan, or South Korea or in China or South, wherever it is. And they have to combine it together. That might pose a challenge. So where a minimum order is necessary, they have an idea of minimum order they can place, because sometimes also when they are buying from you, they don't want to buy large quantity. They want to buy small quantity. But small quantity good enough for their factory. For some company, small quantity might be 1,000 tons. Some company, small quantity might be 100 tons. I'm basically saying that depending on the nature of the item we are trying to ship, that likely influence, that significantly and likely influence what we quote as minimum order and what we quote as maximum order. By the way, my minimum order will be such that I must ship 2 containers, or 3 tons, or 5 tons, or 20 tons, or a whole container, or 2 containers, or 3 containers, for me to be able to cover all my fixed costs and make a little spread. To be able to cover all my fixed costs and make a little spread. The cost incurred in a typical export transaction include terminal handling charge, and that's a fixed cost. NXP processing fee, that's a fixed cost. Freight charge, that's a fixed cost. Freight forwarders fee, that's a fixed cost. Shipping line local charges, that's a fixed cost. Now, can you see all that I'm counting for you? I've counted about 5 costs now. NSP processing fee is a fixed cost. Terminal handling charge is a fixed cost. Shipping line local charges is a fixed cost. Freight charge, that's the transport to destination, is a fixed cost. Freight forwarders fee is a fixed cost. 5 fixed costs. Having a 5 fixed cost is not a joke. You must know exactly what you are doing. If you are listening to me and you are seeing this video for the first time and you don't know some of those costs, we have discussed pricing in the past. Remember, we are on number 67 in this video. So please go to the previous editions of 40-something, 50-something, to be able to understand what we have discussed in the past pricing. The last module that was discussed before the module on promotion, which is and we're discussing export market entry strategy and marketing channel and full corporate offer, was pricing. So go to from 50-something and above, you should be able to see the discussion on pricing. So I won't have to be repeating myself now. I'll just go straight and continue what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying in essence is that it's extremely important that you understand the fact that your knowledge, the knowledge of your fixed cost, is critical for you to set your minimum order. The knowledge of your fixed cost is critical for you to set your minimum order. The capacity of the warehouse or the factory, capacity of the factory of the buyer is critical to set the maximum order. Even though your maximum order is dependent on your capacity in terms of how much you can muster per time, but the challenge we will have sorry, I'm having a distraction. My partner in the UK is trying to place order for PAB, so he's trying to get my attention, but we'll have to finish it before I get across to him. And that's the beauty of what we are talking about. You know, we are talking about getting buyers, and now I'm talking about a buyer or partner in the UK that is trying to place order for goods. He's trying to place order for goods. Why? Because we've been together for more than 2 years. So all you need to do is to drop a WhatsApp message. I draft the contract and send to him. We sign the contract and we start sourcing for the product to ship. And this is a finished product, PAB. I'm sure you've not seen this before. Let me show you. So this is what we ship to the UK from time to time. So that's what he's placing order for. And good enough is happening at the time we are talking about getting buyers and how to be able to secure buyers from abroad. So sorry for that distraction, but I just need to tell you what distracted me. What distracted me. Okay. Minimum order, maximum order. Minimum order, maximum order. These are very, very important, very, very serious and crucial part of what you have to deal with. So what I'm trying to say is that this list I'm giving you for full corporate offer is not just going to be filled by the flip of and just fill. You are going to ask questions. You are going to do your research. You are going to be able to, so that whatever you are putting there, whatever you are putting there, be rest assured that it can make or mar your transaction. But it will be very, very embarrassing if you make this offer to the customer and the customer accepted your offer and you are saying, oh, sorry, I want to change that offer. Then he'll be looking at you. Are you kidding me? You want to change this offer? Offer you offer us. Does it mean you were not sure you are going to get the contract? Or what was the basis for you giving us the offer in the first place? So please, your minimum order is so critical so that you won't give an owner and say, oh, minimum order, 20 tons. And they place an order for 40 tons. You said your minimum order is 20 tons. They place order for 40 tons, you can't ship it. Or you say your maximum order is 100 tons. They place order for 60 tons, you can't ship it. Every time you disappoint a foreign buyer, you send a message to them that Nigerian exporters are not credible. Every time you sign a contract with a buyer, you get a letter of credit to guarantee your payment from a buyer, and you fail to meet that request, that demand, that supply, and you come back to tell story of how Nigeria is so bad, and because Nigeria is so bad, the road is bad, there's no light, there's no water, there's no this, and that is the reason why you are not able to ship. You are basically telling them that we are not credible, we are not reliable, we cannot be trusted, we are not competent. For the serious exporter who value relationship, they will do everything. Go over the land and in the sea to do that shipment. They will do everything. Go over the land and over the sea to do that shipment. And that's what you should do. Go over the land and over the sea to do the shipment. Go over the land and over the sea to do the shipment. Why do you need to go over the land and sea to do the shipment? Because when you satisfy that buyer being a first timer, you have created room for him to trust you more. But more importantly, you have created room for him to trust other Nigerians who are likely going to be contacting him, maybe in future, for similar supply. But when you disappoint, whenever you perform excellently in an export transaction, they don't look at you as ABC Limited, they look at Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. They see Nigerian exporter as being competent when you deliver. When you do not deliver, they see Nigerian exporter as being incompetent. I'm saying all this for you to know that the stakes are high. A disappointment should not be tolerated, should not be condoned. You are going to be hindering other people's chances of getting access to the same buyer who might be interested in dealing with them, but because of your disappointment, they've made up their mind they're not going to deal with Nigerians again. You don't want to be the one that will stop a buyer to make up his mind he's not going to deal with Nigeria. You don't want to be the one to do that. That's a bad reputation. You don't want to be the one to do that. You don't want to be the one to do that because you will have hindered the progress of many other people that you probably don't even know about. Minimum order, maximum order. Remember, your minimum order is to be set based on your fixed cost. Your maximum order is going to be set based on your capacity, not just in financing, but also in what you can get, what you can source, what is available in Nigeria. What is available in Nigeria. The next one is number 7, and that is payment method. Remember, we are discussing full corporate offer. So we have the seller's name, seller's address, product description, specification, minimum order, maximum order. Now I'm looking at payment method. Payment method include letter of credit, open account or cash against document, bill for collection, and advance payment. Those are payment methods. Payment term is talking about I'll pay you today half, I'll pay you the remaining later, I'll pay you every month, I'll pay you 2 tranches, I'll pay you 3 tranches. Payment term is talking about how payment will be made. Payment method is talking about which payment option are we using. Payment term is talking about how payment will be made, how disbursement will be made. Payment method is talking about which payment option are we going to be exploring. Which payment option are we going to be engaging? Which payment option are we going to be using for this transaction? Are we going to be using for this transaction? And these are very critical and important information. Payment terms, payment method. Now, in deciding on payment method, if you don't need to know more about it, please go and check the previous videos. I spent over a week discussing letter of credit. I spent about a week, if not more, discussing open account, because open account is the most risky for exporter, but the most demanded for in terms of requests from buyers. So, and I said, you can't say you are not going to deal because it's risky. If other sellers are using it, you can use it. What you need to know is to know what they've done to mitigate their risk. And I came up with 7 ways of mitigating open account risk. I came up with 7 ways of mitigating open account risk. And that you will find on those videos on payment method. That's what you find on those videos on payment method. So please check up our video on payment method and you'll be able to find the detail of payment method, letter of credit, bill for collection, and the like, and you don't have to worry so much about that again. Payment method, then payment terms. Payment terms, like I said, now for you to decide on payment terms, then you need to watch your cash flow and be sure indeed that if you agree on that payment terms, you will not have issues. You have to be sure indeed that if you agree on that payment terms, you will not have issues. What exactly do I mean? Payment term is talking about how payment will be made. That means you might not be getting your full payment upon shipment. They might pay you in tranches. You need to now check up. How does it affect your cash conversion cycle? How does this affect your cash conversion cycle? Number 1. Number 2. How does it impact on your working capital? How does it impact on your working capital? Number 3. How does it affect your overall export operation? How does it affect your overall export operation? If it's going to affect your overall export operation, you know what? You want to ensure. You want to ensure that you do something very serious about it, such that you don't shoot yourself in the foot by agreeing on a payment method that is not good enough. By agreeing on a payment method that is not good enough. You need to agree on a payment method that will not impact too much on your cash flow. You need to agree on a payment method that will not impact too much on your cash flow. Why? If it impacts too much on your cash flow, you might be out of business. In fact, it is recommended that you should not allow more than 40%, by some school of thought, 40% of your capital to be out on credit. No more than 40%. So that you will not be out of business. So that you will not be out of business. So as much as possible, you want to keep your cash flow. You don't want to experience cash flow constraint. So you need to be careful the payment terms you agree with your buyer. You need to be careful the payment terms you agree with your buyers. You need to be careful the payment terms. You need to agree on the payment terms that will make it a lot easier for you and for them. Agree on a payment term that is a lot easier for you and for them. For you in particular, in the sense that you should not be crippled. Now, because there's no fund, because you have given credit, supplier credit. But please note, a lot of buyer might want supplier credit from you. Some things you can do. You can look for post-export financing from a bank. If your buyer says, I'll pay you back in 60 days, but that will make you to get a good pricing from them. So you can then say, okay, since I'm making more money, I can give some of this money to the bank, and you talk to a bank. He has given you a secure payment method, but he will pay in future. You can then go to the bank and say, look, I have a shipment. These are the documents for the shipment. Payment is due sometimes in future, but I need to give you money today. It's called post-export financing. There are 2 options the bank will look at, 3 options the bank will look at. The bank can do for you invoice discounting. The bank can do for you forfeiting. The bank can do for you factoring. These 3 options are post-export financing options. So approach your bank and you might be able to. If a bank is able to give you a post-export financing option, bingo! Bingo! That means you will be able to give supplier credit. 6 months, 9 months, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. You'll be able to give supplier credit to your client, and being able to give supplier credit is very important. Being able to give supplier credit is very important. Being able to give supplier credit is very important. It helps you to secure market. It helps you to secure buyers. It helps you to grow the volume of what you can ship and export per time. I'll be rounding off now. Remember, this is Import-Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3D Import Academy. My name is Dele Ayimibo. And remember what we do on this program, that this program basically is designed to be able to empower Nigerians that want to go into export business and are looking for an easier way of learning so that they can learn all they need to learn online and be able to effectively manage their export business. Remember, this video is also on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is 3T Impacts. Please remember to visit that YouTube channel. Click on the like button. Click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel, please. We appreciate you subscribing to our channel. We appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Subscribe to our channel is very important to us. So we appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Click the notification bell so you know when we post a new video. More importantly, share. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. Bye for now.